Hi, my name is Will Lighthizer, and I'm a senior UX researcher for Ops and Enablement. Today, we're going to be talking about survey results that cover the current state of the doc site. So I have Susan here with me. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Will. So I'm Susan Tacker, Senior Manager of the Technical Writing Team at GitLab. And I'm going to provide a little bit of context for people who aren't as familiar with the doc site as we are. We're going to be talking about the website that is docs.gitlab.com, which currently has about 4,000 pages of documentation for GitLab. Our users are GitLab administrators, GitLab users on self-managed and on GitLab.com, and they number in the millions.
Thanks, Susan. So a little bit of background on the survey itself. So in terms of the survey data, we collected the same data last year, and we are trying to compare some of the questions that we asked and some of the data that we've gotten compared to last year. So this year we collected feedback from roughly late August to late September of this year, and we received just under 1,000 responses within that given time frame.
So we did do the same survey last year. What are the questions that we asked about findability on the doc site?
It's a great question, Susan. So I'm going to bring up a slide here that has all the questions that we asked, but I'm going to cover just a couple of them. So we asked 3 questions in particular to understand findability. So what was your primary reason for your visit? And this was a multiple choice question because we understood specific categories that people would, be selecting from. So we knew certain reasons why they would be coming to the doc site. We also asked, were you able to locate the information you needed, and was the information useful?
And so what did we learn this year compared to last year?
So compared to last year, you can see some of the main takeaways here. So overall, we learned that there was a statistically significant decrease in the percentage of users who were able to locate the information they needed. So last year, 75% were able to find what they needed. That decreased to 67% this year. So another way of thinking about that same data is that roughly about 1/3 of visitors to the doc site were unable to find the information that they sought there. Also, when users found the information they needed, we saw that there was a large percentage, roughly 92%, stating the information was useful to them. So this was a slight decrease from last year, but it's not a statistically significant decrease. So basically, as long as users can find the information, it's very useful to them.
Good. Good. And to dig in a little bit, we do ask what types of information that the survey participants are looking for. Were there any differences in those last year from last year, and were they significant?
We've got a table here that really breaks it down. So overall, you can see the success rates represented in this table. And on the left-hand side of the table, you can see the primary reasons that I referred to earlier, those different categories that they could select for why they visited the doc site. And then in the 2 columns, just to the right of that, we've got the 2020 data, so success rate finding that information, and then 2021 just to the right of that. So we examined the success rate for each of those primary reasons that users visit the doc site to take a closer look into findability. And compared to last year, we saw decreases in success rates for 4 out of those 6 reasons. Those 4 reasons being visiting a page I use as reference, browsing information about new features, looking for instructions, and looking for information that will help me and my team decide whether to acquire GitLab. So even though these were lower, none of these changes were statistically significant. However, 2 of the reasons that I've highlighted in purple cells there So that was browsing information about new features and then looking for information about deciding whether to acquire GitLab. Those were double-digit decreases compared to last year. So this follow-up analysis showed that no one area of the doc site impacted overall findability, but there are several areas that have gotten slightly harder to locate, and that's dragging down the overall success rate.
Okay, so let's hypothesize about the reason that we see some lower success rates in the survey this year as compared to last year.
So there are a couple reasons why, we're seeing lower success rates. So let me bring up the slide for that. So the number of users who were the first time visitors to the doc site increased by 11 percentage points, which you can see at the top of this graph. So this is my first time here, increased from 14% to 25%. Then on the next slide, we also have the number of new users that increased. So just quickly to define what new users are, those are defined as those who have used GitLab 6 months or less. So when we combine the data for less than 1 month and 1 to 6 months, we see that increase in 2020 from 22% to 37%.
Okay, so we hypothesize that we have new users that may impact findability. Also new GitLab users, not just new doc site visitors, but new GitLab users. We also hypothesize we have ongoing but still incomplete improvements to topic structure and information architecture. We're doing a lot of work to increase findability on the doc site, but it's a large site and we're not done yet. And another hypothesis is that we continue to add to the doc site without really improving search functionality. So those are our hypotheses for now.
Thanks, Susan. So in summary, the overall comparison of the doc site survey between this year and last year, we saw that the doc site provides great information if users can find it. People continue to struggle, however, to find what they're looking for. The amount of first-time visitors that we saw almost doubled in comparison to last year. And then the percentage of new users for GitLab with 6 months or less experience grew from 22% to 37% this year.
Okay, so we also know from other research that GitLab customers really do use the documentation to learn GitLab, to learn how to use GitLab. So we will continue to improve the findability information on the doc site. It will continue to be a team focus for the foreseeable future. So thank you, Will. We appreciate all your work on the survey.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it.